All right, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about how to structure your programs for scale. So I'm going to be going over in today's video. We're going to be looking at one-on-one, small groups, big groups, and camp trainings. I'm also going to be going over a schedule on how to move into groups and talk about the best ways to structure your program for scale so you can start taking on more and more clients. And if you don't know who I am, my name's Noah Varner. I help privates, clubs, academies, and training programs, sports training programs, scale their businesses through marketing and advertisements. So let's just get right into it, guys. So I think this is by far the most important thing that you guys need before you should ever even think about bringing a new client. Okay. And the reason for that is because everybody wants clients. Everybody wants to bring in clients. Everybody wants new clients. Everybody wants to know how to grow their business and bring clients. But in reality, the biggest problem that's happening with you guys is that y'all aren't structured for scale. Your business is not structured for scale. Meaning that if we did run you through the 3X rule that I run all my clients through, you would fail. Now, what is the 3X rule? And I'm gonna put this up here just so we'll talk about it first, okay? So what is the 3X rule? All right, so the 3X rule is basically, can your program take on 3 times the amount of clients that it has right now and still be able to operate? All right, so let's say you have 20 clients right now. Would you be able to take on 40 more clients and have 60 total clients right now in the current state that you're in and still be able to run your business and be able to operate? Most of you are going to say no, right? Because it's either your systems that you have in place are crappy. So, you're running on Google Sheets, right? You're managing your clients through your personal phone, right? Or, you've got all the programs that you have in place. You don't have room for 40 more clients to be able to 3X, right? You don't have the coaches in place to help you do the coaching, right? Or you're just not, your schedule isn't just set up and you're probably just doing all one-on-ones. And then you definitely can't do 60 one-on-ones a week, right? So today I'm going to be going over how we're going to structure you guys and make sure that you do, in fact, pass that 3X rule so you can scale and start bringing in new clients. Cool. So, sorry, I had to do a little Oreo break, but let's get into it. So basically, when you guys are scaling this type of business, you need to look at what you're offering specifically. Because it's called the scalability pyramid. All right, there's levels of scalability to what you're specifically doing in this type of business, right? And it's different for everything. Like a gym is going to scale differently than a soccer academy, right? And a soccer academy is going to scale slightly different than some other form of service business, right? But most sports businesses can all scale the exact same way, which is this. Okay, so it's from the top, which is least scalable, to the bottom, which is most scalable, okay? And then I'll go through each one and why and how they work, all right? So at the top of the scalability pyramid, which is the least scalable, we've got one-on-one training, okay? This is blatantly obvious, right? One-on-one training. You are saying, you're maxing yourself out is basically what I'm saying, right? Like it's high ticket, or at least it should be. Some of you guys are charging like $40 an hour, which is atrocious, right? But it should be high ticket because you can only train one kid during this time, right? Meaning that you're not valuing your time. If you guys are a business owner that you want to actually make tens of thousands of dollars in this business, then you need to get rid of one-on-ones, okay? Now, I know that's hard because some of you are probably watching this like, Noah, I only do one-on-ones. How the heck do I go into groups? And I'll show you here in a second, right? But, basically, you're going to want to get out of groups because you can only make so much. Like, even if you're charging $150 an hour, which I would only recommend you do a monthly as a one-on-one, so $600 a month, which is insane. Even in California, that's expensive, right? You can only make $150 an hour. Like, that's what you're capping yourself at. Or you do small group training with 6 players in each group and they're each charging $50 an hour. And now you're making $300, right? But since you're only doing one-on-ones, you're capping yourself out. And I know what you're saying, but I love doing one-on-one trainings, or like, I'm sure it's okay to do a couple one-on-one trainings on the side, right? If you have coaches that work under you, then yes, do one-on-ones. If you're somebody who's on your own and you're by yourself, don't do one-on-ones. You're wasting your time. You're wasting money. You're spending a lot of money because the opportunity cost of you doing the one-on-one is extremely high. Because if you think about it, if you're making $300 a session from the small group, 4 sessions a month, that's $1,200. If you're only making $600 a month from the one-on-one training, which by the way is an insane price anyway that you'd be charging, you're losing out on $600. You're literally costing yourself $600 a month to not do the small group training, to do the one-on-ones. You're literally paying $600 to do one-on-one trainings. And I know for sure you guys are watching this and you don't want to be doing that. All right. So get rid of one-on-ones. All right. Take my advice. Get rid of one-on-ones. Okay. And if you do have one-on-ones, limit the spots. All right. 4 to 5. 4 to 5 max. I'd say don't. I tell the coaches that I work with, don't do any, right? Because we want to scale this thing and make it as big as possible. But yeah, if you got to do one-on-ones, limit the spots. All right. And then we got small group training here. All right. So this is where you can make anywhere from $160 to $360 an hour and a $40 to $60 a session ratio. Again, I only say upfront payments, monthly, quarterly, annually, all that kind of stuff. But this is the next level in scalability. So once you get past one-on-one training, now you're scaled a little more into small group training. Okay. Then after you've done small group training of 4 to 6 players, that's when you go into big group trainings and clinics. Okay. This is the gold zone is what I like to call it. This is the golden zone that we like. All right. This is exactly where your business needs to be the most scalable model. Okay. So this is where you have anywhere from 6 to 18 players in your sessions, and you're making anywhere from $200 to $600 an hour. And that's only at a $25 to $35 a session. Okay. Now, for these are difficult because and I'm going to go over the variables in a second, but you have age, skill, and age as the 2 variables, right? So these are best for large technical sessions when you're doing just individual stuff. If you're doing a teamwork, right, or if you just have a ton of kids that are similar skill and level, that's when these things really work the best. But this is going to be the most scalable model possible. So if you're somebody watching this and you're like, well, shoot, I'm only doing one-on-one trainings, I'm going to go over this in a second, but you need to put your schedule into what you want. Like you need your dream schedule and then just set that up as your dream and then just do everything in your power to fill it, right? It's okay if you start, big group trainings off with 2 kids. That's what I did. I started with 2 kids. I started with 2 kids in a group session. Then I offered 12 spots in, right? And that's humbling. But I was eventually able to grow it because I set myself up for scale. Then I started running ads, and then I filled those groups up within a month or 2, right? But it's because I set myself up for scale. So I structured my program for scale, okay? And then the most scalable model, obviously, is going to be camps. Now, this is where you're going to make anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 an hour, a camp. Okay. So you can make an absolute load from camps. And I know some of you guys are watching this and you're like, oh yeah, no duh, dude. Right. But also the misconception with camps is that like so many business owners are like camp. Like I have to put a camp on. Like I'm not going to make any money this year if I don't do a camp. Like my camps are the most important thing. And I've seen people be ultra successful just doing purely camp work, right? And offering camps. But at the end of the day, guys, like if you're not making money in your big group trainings and clinics that's running your business year round, the camps are just a side thing, right? I included it on the scalability pyramid just to show you. But like if you're not making a ton of money from your small group trainings and clinics, then what's the point of doing camps? Camps are supposed to add revenue to your bottom line, not be your revenue, right? But again, and that's the problem. You can only do it like during seasonality, right? So you can only do it during winter, spring, summer, and fall. And you can do multiple camps within each. I've worked with guys that do like 2 winter camps, 3 summer camps, a fall, a winter, right? But that's limited, right? You need this gold zone, which is the big group clinics and players. Okay, so 6 to 18 players. All right. So now let's go into schedule. All right. So now that we know, okay, we want to go into big group trainings and clinics. Like this is where we need to go. Obviously, I need to do this. It's not as easy as just putting on the clinics or the group work. It's just not as easy as that, right? There's 2 variables that you're going to run into that is an absolute pain in the butt. All right. 1 is going to be age and 2 is going to be skill. All right. So age is just the age of the player, right? Meaning, you can't put a 9-year-old and a 15-year-old together, right? Like that's an age, right? Skill is, you can't put a bottom level player who's just playing, rec versus an academy level player or a top level player, right? Like those two variables you have to consider when trying to schedule out your groups. Okay, so this is what we do. All right, so when I teach my coaches on what to figure out here, we look at what we have. All right, so we look at our clients. So if I have 20 clients and a majority of them are, U10 to U13, right? Then from there, I'm going to open up U10 to U13 group days, okay? And then I just build from there. Now, here's like an example schedule that you can put together, all right? This is like a dream schedule. So if you're watching this, I want you to watch what I'm about to do here, okay? And then I want you to create your dream schedule. And once you create your dream schedule, I think you need to wake up every day and build towards that schedule. That should be your number one concern by far, okay? So with the two variables here, you have two schedules. You have an age-driven schedule and an age and a skill level schedule, okay? Both of these can work. It just depends on what you're offering, okay? So and I'll start with the age since it's a single variable. So age, you can put 6 to 8 year olds together, 9 to 11s, 12 to 14, 15 to 16. That's good. That's perfect, right? Only problem is the skill gap. You don't want really good players or really bad kids together, right? So how you could solve that is by offering a training that's purely individualized, like a technical group training, like I mentioned earlier, right? Something that is all technical training. Oh my God, the glare is crazy. Something that is all technical training that they can come in and it's like everybody has a ball and that's what they're doing. They're just working with a singular ball. They're not even interacting with the other kids. Like they're just working with a ball, working on themselves, making sure that they're better, whatever sport that you're in, right? Because you can do individual training on a larger scale in groups. Okay. Now, I will say that isn't the best thing to do, right? You can do it that way, and it's a great place to start in the beginning, right? But as you add more and more players on, you want to make more of a skill-based thing, right? So that's when we move into age and skill, okay? So here, I've got an example schedule of age and skill. All right, so the thing with age and skill is not only are you considering their age groups, but you're considering their skill level, right? So you're going to have basically, you'll pick some age groups that you want to train. So a niche. So I'll basically say like, all right, I love ages 6 to 14-year-olds. That's my niche. Pretty large gap here for the example. I'd like to see you guys at like 9 to 14 or something, like something smaller just to start. But like when you're at full, you got like 100 clients and you're at like full capacity, you want to be putting on as many sessions as possible for as many age groups as possible because you're just going to print money that way. Okay, but so check it out. So we've got on Mondays, we've got our elite 12 to 14-year-olds, our elite 9 to 11-year-olds, and then intro 12 to 14, intro 9 to 11. Okay, so you see what I'm doing, right? I'm offering an elite group and I'm offering an intro group of the same age group on different days. Okay, so everybody's happy, everybody's getting good training. Now, notice I'm running at least 2 of the same groups every week. Okay, because if you guys are somebody who's not indoors, like let's say you're a basketball guy and you have a court, like that's different because it'll always be available. But if you're a soccer guy who's out in the field, you guys need to make sure you offer at least 2 groups for your sessions, because if you don't, then what happens if it rains and it gets canceled? And then you're on like a monthly plan and then you're behind a month, right? You get screwed. Okay, so make sure that you guys offer multiple days for your sessions so you can have makeup days. Because let's say Monday gets canceled. You'd be like, okay, that's fine. You guys can just come to this Wednesday session, or you can just come to the Wednesday session next week to make it up. All right, if you're following. Okay, but yep, so that's just a real brief lesson, guys, on how to structure your program for scale. I hope you got some value out of this. If you guys have any questions, any concerns, you guys want to talk to me, hit me up. I'm on Instagram at coach.noahv. You can always shoot me a text at 919-283-9670. I'm always looking and down to help you guys out, grow your sports training academies. We're trying to scale the world, scale the country, scale all sports around the world to become something great, and we can all make a good amount of money off of it. But I appreciate you guys' time. If you got any questions, just hit the like, follow, subscription, whatever those buttons are. I don't really know. I suck at my outros, but I love you guys. Go make some money.